Oh boy, we got it. The Roadcaster. The best, worst piece of equipment you will ever buy for all your audio needs. That was a little touch and go. I still won't know if this phone is going to work, but I do have a number up at the top. This show was actually Sevon's idea for Jocelyn. If you guys remember, she's the nutrition guru over at CrossFit. And a while back, he was like, hey, you should do a show, kind of like the CrossFit Hotline show, where she could be Dr. Drew, the buttoned up professional, and Sevon will be Adam Carolla, the entertainment factor. And I thought that was a freaking great idea. Obviously, CrossFit didn't pick it up, or maybe they will. Who knows? But we're going to give it a go here. And we're going to call it the CrossFit Hotline show. And we even have this. Oh, snap. I swear it wasn't just because I was trying to get that uploaded. Like the whole entire Roadcaster shut itself off. Good morning, everybody. Sevon is in Stockton for a jiu-jitsu competition. Jethro, what's up? Heidi is a doctor. That is good because I'm in need of some serious help. What's up, right? How you doing? CrossFit Portland. Slater, what's going on? I have a question. What is the meaning of life? That is a great question to start off, Jeff. I would love if you called in. If you call the number above 510-327-7631, you will get all your questions answered. Answered accurately? Probably not, but answered nonetheless. But bye. What's up, dude? I was hoping to make it in and take the class yesterday, but by the time I finished up over at Glinton Things with Garrett and Colleen, I had dinner at my parents' house. Went and saw my mom and dad. Can we agree on chew toys? This is too much for 6:53 a.m. Jenny, what's up? Just finished watching your show. It's playing in the background while I was stressing about getting this Roadcaster set up. Justin, what's going on? How you doing? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Have you guys watched the show with John Woolley? Jenny, I liked your take on it. You were like, holy smokes. I actually liked his takes. I thought he did good on that podcast. I really didn't disagree with pretty much anything he said. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched a good chunk of it, the majority of it. And yeah, he wasn't wrong on a lot of stuff. The WFP thing is super interesting. I know Taylor went nuclear on it about the pro card and the value of the pro card. Ken Walters, good morning. Watched the Glinton show last night. Great take on Gurley. Oh, thanks. Except for my show got dwarfed. I did the, let's see. Let's do a comparison, shall we? Let's make ourselves feel really bad this early in the morning. So I did that show. What was that? Was it yesterday? 2 days ago? Thursday? Yeah, reviewing the rise and fall with Michael Gurley. My show here has got, let's see, 2,100 views, something like that. Yeah, there it is. 2,100 views. And if you go over to Hiller Fit, Andrew Hiller, he did his one on it. 14,000. I was pretty sure, like I watched Hiller's. Hiller's is great. If you haven't seen it, go over there and check it out. The funny thing about it, at least in my opinion, is I was like, I think we had pretty much the same takes on the whole entire thing. Obviously, Hiller does his post-production of stuff where he, uploads afterwards, and that's really good. It's like, it's super like to the point, accurate. Obviously, when I'm doing it live, I'm just kind of rambling a little bit. But I thought that we had pretty much the same takes on it. What's the air speed velocity of a I'm going to swallow. Okay. You got to have it's the CrossFit hotline, Jeff. One of you guys got to call in. Everybody gets a pass on the first one. You just call and test the phone to see if it'll work. I'm like pretty sure it will not, but let's see. Call it in. You guys are like Fox News when they run MSNBC clips. You guys you give a failed podcaster more views than he could get on his own. I wish that were true. Oh, you're talking about Woolley. I thought you were talking about Michael Gurley. I was like, dude, that video has like 200 and something thousand views already. It's insane. Somebody said he bought the views. Let's look at that video now. Michael. Actually, we have to do the rise and fall CrossFit. And I was really surprised of how many views that video already had. Let's see. 223,000 already. Holy smokes. Oh, shoot. Hold on. I promise it'll answer before. I don't know. What the fuck? Okay, maybe the phone won't work. Hold on. Let me try this. Let me turn off. You guys know how to turn it off so it doesn't talk in the headphones. I don't want you guys to call in and get your phone numbers doxed on the show. Accessibility, maybe. Who knows? Let me guess. Someone hold me down. The frickin', I'm telling you, the Roadcaster it's great, but it has literally no like longevity to it. I think Sevon's already gone through like 3 of them. I don't even know. I don't know how to I don't even know how to turn that thing off. It came up in Jimmy's suggested videos. Yeah, the algorithm shot that thing around a lot. Can you try again, Jethro? Hold on. Let's go into the almighty Gemini and figure out how to. Jeez Louise, what a mess. What a mess. It's in notifications. Thank you, Jenny. I don't even know. Criminy. I'm doing a coaching seminar. It's not really a coaching seminar. It's more or less like practice time for coaches down at the gym. I'm going to try to do this like at least once a quarter, hopefully more if people get into it and want to actually join. But the idea is that we're just going to practice as coaches. Announcements are off. I don't know. It all says it's off though. I don't know if that was it. Thank you though, Jenny. It's not notifications, maybe. Public safety alerts. Nope. Text alerts. Nope. I don't know. Somebody try to call again. Somebody call with like a coaching question or something like that. I'm floundering here. Sound, maybe that's it. Sound mode, ringtone, reflection. No. Loud sounds. No. I don't know. Okay. There we go. Hold on. We have somebody. Hold on. Wait 1 second. Where? Speaker? Roadcaster?
I hear you.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
I can. That's amazing. Okay. And it didn't announce your number as you called. That's cool. Okay.
Good.
Yeah. Is this Jethro?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Cool. Welcome to the show. Can the viewers hear? Can you guys hear him? Can somebody put in the comments if you could hear him? I think we can. You're coming in through my headphones, so they must be able to hear you. Oh, thank you for calling. That's good. We got 1. Yes. Do you have a question? Can you just make a question up?
What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
No, cheese, Louise. Get out of here. How's the gym going? How's the gym going?
Fantastic, bro.
Okay.
Actually, this is the first weekend I haven't coached when I'm able to coach. I have coaches now, so it's great.
Oh, that's awesome. How many do you have?
Yeah. 8 coaches.
Nice. That's good. Let me ask you this. I'm gonna flip the hotline question around on you. How'd you find those 8 coaches? Where'd they come from?
A couple I integrated myself to work for me. They were just hopped right on board. Other coaches from other gyms, they wanted to start coaching for me, and people who had the level 1s, level 2s that were members and wanted to start coaching again.
Nice. So they just basically came up from within the community, so to speak, or sought you out, huh?
Right. So it really, really did work out because, like you said, I was at the point where I was going to burn out. And at that point, everyone just started requesting to coach. And I said, great. And I'm at the point where I have enough members that I can still maintain myself coaching a little bit. Well, more than a little bit, a lot of it. And have them coach as well.
Damn, that's awesome. The coaching has always been like a scarcity thing, like trying to find people that not only are capable but mesh well with your community, and where do you source them from? So I'm glad you were able to to get them, or they found you, so to speak, because that's tough to do.
Yeah, I had someone actually just started with me. She's only coaching 2 classes a week, but she was someone who started doing light intensity training, someone who was in the CrossFit space for a long time. They just wanted to tone it down a little bit. They were at a different gym. And, she's knowledgeable of all the members that are in my gym. She knows them. So it was a good marriage of her coming over. She knew the people. She still does CrossFit somewhat. And yeah, she's started this weekend, which is great.
Damn. Well, good for you. And thank you for calling. The first caller. You always help out and test out with the phone line. I appreciate that, Jethro, a lot.
Yeah. Listen,
yeah.
That Livermore, CrossFit Livermore website, that looks really, really good. I know you were talking about it. So
oh, yeah.
If it does come across your table, if I steal stuff, it's definitely stolen from you. So
well, thank you. Yes, please steal away. I mean, that was the purpose of that show. I think some of the gyms there could just make a couple of tweaks and optimize the website just a little bit better. And so I'm glad that you got something from it, man. Please steal away. And if you need anything else, you know how to find me.
Yeah, awesome. All right, cool. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Jethro. Thank you, dude. Bye.
All right, bye.
Oh, wow. That was good. Okay. Phone worked. What I have a level 0 but a PhD from Google. That's all you need, dude. Source, trust me, bro. Promoting members seems the ideal path. It's absolutely the ideal path for coaches because they already kind of are baked into your culture. Hopefully all the members like them, everything else. And if you're able to take a member that's interested in coaching and start to bring them up through hopefully some sort of intern process or shadowing process just outside of the L1, that is the most optimal way to bring new people in. We've had a lot of good luck with people coming from the outside in, like Pool Boy and another chick, Gabby. She's done fantastic so far too. And then of course we have people that we brought up from membership. That is the most ideal way to do it. Just saying there. Heidi, anytime we hire coaches from the outside, they are rejected like a foreign body part. Wow. Why do you think that is? Does your gym have some sort of intern or shadow process where they're like with the coach for a long period of time, or is it kind of just kick them out into the deep end? Oh, I should have played the. We should make that the ringtone. That way, every time we know. All right, call in with your questions. What do you do with the smelly person at the gym? What do you do with the coach that maybe did some unfavorable things on the floor? It's got to be interactive. So I'm not screwing around. I have nothing prepared for this. I'm just doing the show because Savon's out traveling and I thought we'd hang out. If you guys aren't interactive, it ain't going to work. Judy, our gym does that thing where they train up members. It says it's a long and really thorough process, but our coaches are solid. Most have L2s and even L3s. That's good. We have quite the process as well too. If you're a coach that has already been coaching and you're coming from the outside, most of that process is expedited, but it still takes a couple of weeks to get all the way through. So that way you kind of know our systems. We also really make sure that the members feel comfortable, with the new coach, and you're not just like throwing them out there right away. And so they're rejected like a foreign body part, as Heidi would say. But it is important to have your own process, and it is important to be able to translate what exactly you want that classroom experience to look like. And a lot of gyms may not even have really thought that through, right? Maybe not. Sevon, I'm watching from Twitter. It's called X. I was actually watching from Twitter the other day too. I mean X. That's pretty funny. I wonder how many people actually watch on X. It doesn't really seem like. Yes, they shadow, but they don't have buy-in from the members. Why do you think that is? Do you think if I showed up at your gym and coach that I would have buy-in from the members? Christine Young, is your gym friendly to new people, Heidi? Apparently not. It's not interactive because it's new, fun to watch you sweat. Maybe Bob, like years back, probably. But now I would just like throw a tantrum and just say, well, fun. And I would just sit here in silence. You remember back in the day when I would be called up from the back end on the news shows with shoot, what was her name? How am I drawing a blank on her name? With James Hobart, who was how am I drawing a blank on that chick's name? Holy crap. I can't remember. Wow. I heard Twitter is just porn now. Kenneth, you better delete the app then, buddy. They'd run you out. They would not run me out, Heidi. That is not thing. Kate, thank you. Thank you. Not Sue. Did you read Kate? Yes. And I remember I'd come up from the back and be like, yes, this is my chance to be on the show. And then like there'd be the time or two where like something would happen and Sevon would drop off and it would just be me by myself on the show for a second. That was terrifying back in the day. That was terrifying. Rosie View Photography. I've been a member at my gym since 2012 and finally been coaching for 6 months now. Awesome. And I'm Prager's and due in December. Congrats. Wow. Quite the changes. We have one other coach besides me. The gym might close. Oh, no. Oh, no. Wait, why? Is it just nobody else in the area? Don't you live in the middle of nowhere? Like on some dairy farm or something like that? Yeah. That's tough. I know that a lot of gyms, especially the longer the gym's been around, it seems like the tougher it is to get coaches. Maybe just because CrossFit's been in that area for so long. But it's interesting to hear that Jethro was able to have as many as he does in a short amount of time. That's really cool. She looked like a Sue. Yeah. In the old days, I thought anal was gross. Nothing has changed. Yeah. It's weird to think that was like what 4 years ago now at this point. 4 years ago. That's nuts. It's crazy how fast time goes by. I wonder if I check my Wodify here, how many people are actually signed into my coaching thing. I was like, oh, I have to limit it to 10 because a lot of people like wrote in when I posted it up on Instagram and they were like, oh, I'm going to come. And then most of them don't live in the area here. All right. We got 4. Awesome. Maybe more than that. 5 now. Cool. There we go. Sign them all in. All right. Well, that'll be fun. I enjoy like the coaching side of like teaching coaching and like practicing it and stuff like that. That part is really fun, especially when you have newer people, because a lot of the times they don't they don't know where to start. They don't know where to like you just stare at somebody and you're watching them squat and you maybe have watched people squat a lot, but you don't really know where to go with like making changes to movement or anything else. You guys really suck. Somebody call in. Fuck. Now I'm just getting frustrated. I'm going to call. Yeah, right, Rosie, you and everybody else. Jesus, criminy. Are we doing a live herd show? No, we're he'll be using our channel to stream the oh shit, everything just froze. To stream his competition that's happened on November 22nd. I do know that the early bird signups already are done. You cannot sign up for early bird, but there'll be more opportunities soon. I know, Jethro. They just I don't know. Everybody's all tough in the comments, but the second you got to hear their voice over the phone, everybody freaks out. It got shit to say. Justin Rolls. There we go. All right. We'll answer it quickly so it doesn't say your number. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Rosie.
Rosie, what's up? How you doing?
AKA, it's Jess.
AKA from the girl next door.
Ha ha ha. Yes, I live out in the middle of nowhere, but my gym is like a pretty decent sized like city-ish kind of.
Okay.
But it's been a shit show. Our is no longer affiliated. But our gym owner, he took on a full-time job because he is living but beyond his means, which is really annoying. But his wife took over And so she's the only other coach besides me. We had 3 other coaches, but all like one of them is a firefighter, and he had to take on a bunch of more hours at work. And one other, he actually competes. Her name is Ava George, but she's no longer able to coach because she's just really competing and whatnot. And so like we've had numerous people like, you know, come and shadow and whatnot, and they just don't work out.
Why do you think that is?
What else? I don't know. I really don't know, because like a couple of them have members and they just, I don't think, get overwhelmed because of like just coaching a class or what it may be. But like, it's just really frustrating. And now I'm like really worried the gym's going to close. I feel like.
How many hours are at the gym?
As soon as I'm done.
Would there be a way to just reduce the hours to match the amount of coaching you guys have, so that way you don't necessarily have to close it while you don't have coaches for this time period?
So we have 4 classes. That's it. We have a 5 a.m., we have a 6 o'clock class, we have an 8:15, and then a 4 p.m. class. Like, we have reduced our class sizes so much. We used to have a noon class, but yeah, so they've been just canceling classes. I mean, like, people are starting to notice that there's equipment missing at the gym. Like, so our gym has just been like selling equipment left and right, and not being very transparent to any members at all. Like, it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, because there's so many people there that have been coming for a long time, and I'm the only like person that's still there. I started at 2012.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know what else they are going to be able to do to be able to keep it running, because one person can't run the whole gym the whole time.
Yeah, that's not going to work. I'm curious, what was the reason for de-affiliating? Was it just a money reason, or was it more than that?
I think that, and the owner, he was a games athlete. He made it to the games as a master's athlete, and then he got popped for something.
Okay.
It's undisclosed.
Oh shit! All right.
And then kind of was like, yeah, like, I hate CrossFit. I'm like, when we all know that, like, dude, you cheated, so there's that.
Interesting.
But, yeah.
Okay.
Hiller actually knows our gym owner, but
Hiller did a video on him.
So it's just been. No, he's never done a video on him.
Okay.
But I'm sure Hiller knows who he is.
Yes,
yeah,
the all-seeing eye.
He affiliated, like, I think before around 2020, and then our gym owner, we needed a new space because we were outgrowing our space. So they decided to build a brand new gym, and I feel like now they're just trying to live beyond their means, and they can't afford anything. It's crazy.
Damn.
So
that is.
It's just like been going downhill, and it's like, you know, there's so many members that are like, what are we going to do if the gym closes? Where are we going to go? Because we kind of live in an area where the next closest gym is an hour away.
Wow. How much space do you have down over at your area? Is there a possibility of taking a handful of equipment and just running semi-private training classes on your own?
I mean, there's definitely plenty of space.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm not going to be able to do anything. Like, I'm still coaching till probably the end of October before I go on like maternity leave. And then I don't know what it's going to be like if the gym's still open when I come back. And then I just don't know. It's so unfortunate.
Yeah, that is. If anybody's in your area that listens to this, maybe they want to buy the gym or something. It sounds like they could get it for a discount.
Anybody got $1 million? That's pretty much how much it's going to cost.
$1 million?
Dude, our gym, it probably costs over $1 million to build.
What?
We have, dude.
How is that? Like, how?
It's crazy.
Do you guys just have like a shitload of GHDs or something? Like, how did it end up costing $1 million?
Everything is crazy fancy, custom. I mean, we have like 6 air runners. We used to have like 7 rowers. Now we're down to 1 rower, which is absolutely obscene. We just have less and less equipment. And it's funny when like Savan talks about workouts with like machines in it. I feel like all we do is machines, but we have less and less machines. So it's becoming more and more of a pain in the ass than anything.
Dang.
For workouts. You know? Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. I wonder if you put some sort of like ad out there or something that they were actually selling it. It'd be interesting if somebody would step up and at least buy the equipment or change the space or something like that. You could help kind of like broker that deal just so you have a gym to go to when you're ready to come back too.
Right.
Yeah.
You would think so. It's just, I don't know if like the owner and his wife are just getting burned out.
Sounds like it.
But the thing is, like, if you're burned out, then you need to hire other coaches to take over, you know?
Yeah.
Like, because the community is still there. People are willing to literally like chip in and help pay for like the gym to stay open. And they're just like not about it.
Wow. Well, if you ever decide to, I think there's an opportunity for you to take a handful of that equipment off of their hands, set up a small spot and do some semi-private training, maybe like 1-2 hours a day, and capture a small amount of those members. I'd be willing to bet if you have a spot where you don't have to pay rent, that you could probably make a pretty good chunk of change just doing that for a handful of them that want to continue. And then if you have that space set up, what I would do is just, if it doesn't intrude your area too much while you went out on maternity leave, you could just allow them to access it during a certain times of the day and then come back and coach it later.
Right.
And then you could sign up for Hiller Fit and just have him do the programming for you and your members. You'd be all set.
Right. 100%. I mean, I've honestly thought about it, and like, it's funny. I signed up for Sentinel training for a year, and then like I got pregnant. So I've been able to still do it, but I have been scaling a lot. But I feel like some of the members are just very new. So like certain movements, it would be very hard for them to understand. But there's still, like I said, there's lots of members that have been coming since 2017.
Wow.
You know, and So,
well, I would definitely
think the programming needs to change and all that.
Yeah, I would definitely think about doing something like that, because it sounds like there might be an opportunity if you're ever interested. And if you decide to and you want any more help with it, just reach out. I'd be happy to help if I can.
Oh, absolutely. I will definitely do that for sure. For sure.
Okay. You're awesome.
Sure. See, somebody had to call in and I called in.
Thank you. Thank you, Rosie. Look at here. Solving problems. I appreciate it. Let me know if you end up doing that. I'm super curious to see how that turns out.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. I'll reach out.
Thanks, Rosie. Bye.
All right, cool.
There we go. Caller. See? Solving problems over here. Oh, man. Commercial mortgage agreements are crazy. That is got to be one of the hardest parts about opening the affiliate, especially when you first start out here in California. My rent is crazy. And once your overhead starts, once those bills start coming in, it gets tough. Having to, I'm really curious as to like the life cycle of an affiliate, right? Because I've heard, a lot of them sell usually to like some sort of member. So the situation that Rosie is in right now is not unique. Like the owners either get burnt out, or they've always had a secondary job, or their family grows or something like that. And they realize, okay, the gym isn't my full-time thing. So like, what am I going to do next? And typically the members get really emotional about it because they've been going there like Rosie has since 2012 or, 2017, as she said, a lot of them are. And you get really attached to that place, especially if you're in an area where she is and the next closest gym might be an hour or more away. It's crazy. And so I usually the members kind of band together and then they'll buy it, right? Or one member will step up and buy it. And then that life cycle starts again. Because when you first open the gym, you're all excited and you're like, hey, we bought it. We get to do all the stuff that like us members talked about doing, put some fresh paint on the walls or buy some more equipment. And then they do that. And then, that newness, the honeymoon phase kind of wears off. And then next thing you know, you're like, oh man, like this is a lot of work and I still have that other job. And now my wife's pissed off because I'm here all the time and trying to get this. And then that cycle starts over again. The other CrossFit gym in Livermore has gone through 3 cycles of that. So it's been around since 2012, I think, too. And they're on their 3rd or 4th owner. And I've talked to both the last like 2 previous owners, and there has been opportunities to potentially buy it. Last time it didn't work out, but we'll see what happens in the future. And it's the same cycle. They really enjoy their gym. They don't want to see it leave, and then they purchase it, and then they realize this is a lot harder work than I thought. Oh, really, Rosie? The owners own the property? Huh. Well, if it's close enough to your house, maybe you should just see about taking that over. To be fair, your gym has gone through 1 or 2, right? 1, yes. The owner that originally started it in 2009 was CrossFit, and then he didn't actually want to sell it. He knew that we were going to go open another gym. I was going to go to the neighboring town here, Tracy, over the Altamont Pass, and we actually had the lease, everything ready to go. It was like a 10,000 square foot building we were going to move into, and we went and told the gym owner, like, hey, just so you know, we're going to go open a gym. It's going to be in Tracy. I actually had the name Altamont CrossFit, like with CrossFit HQ, like signed up for it. We had it. We had the lease papers. Everything was good to go. And right as we told the gym owner, Mike at the time, that we were going to leave and start our own gym, he was like, hold on, before you do that, would you consider buying this one? And it wasn't because he was burnt out, because this was 2013. So the gym was booming. And essentially how he started a CrossFit gym was him and a couple of his buddies were doing CrossFit in the garage. And his wife got pissed off that, all these people were showing up and doing workouts there and, making a bunch of noise. And she's like, go get your own space. And after that 2008 crash, there was like lots of available space in downtown Livermore. So he rented out this tiny little old Arthur Murray's dance studio that was, put up some pull-up bars. There wasn't even a sign on the door. There was like a piece of paper like taped on the back of it that just said CrossFit. And next thing you know, people just started to show up because that was that time period. And so he quickly grew out of the small dance studio, and then he rented half of a space with a jiu-jitsu place, and then quickly grew out of that space and then moved into the space where we ended up taking it over. And the main reason why he actually sold it was because he actually had a concrete business that did really well. So he didn't needed the other business. It was just like a hobby. And he just came to us and said, hey, look, I'm not doing these members justice. They need to have what you guys are going to do, which is set class times, coaching, programming. Like his place was just like a free for all. In fact, the only the only review that was left negative was from a woman who dropped into the gym and said there was no coaching. The workout was just written on the board. It was just CrossFit.com's workout of the day. It was just chaos in there and blah, blah. And she was right. That's how the gym was going. And it was still growing despite all of that. And so when he found out we were going to open a gym, he said, hey, I would rather have you guys take this over because I can't keep up with this. And these people are all amazing. And I would like to see them experience CrossFit the right way. So there we go. Then we ended up buying the gym from him, and I ended up calling, I think it was Angela McKernan at the time, Roy's wife, who was my point of contact at HQ, and said, hey, is the name CrossFit Livermore happen to be available? And she was like, I don't think so. I don't know if we do the city names or whatever the case was at the time. And then sure enough, it was available. And so she's like, yeah, if you want it, you got it. And we're like, yes. And there you go. The rest is history. So a little bit of a different situation, CrossFit, but you're correct nonetheless. So yeah, we are the second owners of the gym that was CrossFit and now CrossFit Livermore. You know what's funny too is he was like a power lifter, like a big old power lifter dude. And so for a while he would like stay and like his buddies would come and they would like do their own thing off to the side. And then as the gym continued to grow with us purchasing it, at some point we had to go over and be like, so this is kind of awkward, but you can't just show up and do your own powerlifting thing in the corner. Like we need all this space now and it's disruptive of the class. So that was kind of awkward because he didn't necessarily get kicked out of his old gym, but he wasn't allowed just to show up and do his own thing anymore. He was totally cool about it, really understood. So it wasn't like an issue, but just kind of funny how that worked. You like that? The switch out of the coffee. Sevon, I saw you put $19.99 and bought yourself a super sticker. How does that work? It just moves from one bank account to the another back into the same bank account. Omar, member for 20 months. Wow. Thank you, Omar. We really appreciate that here at the Sevon Podcast for keeping the lights on. You get an applause. Thank you for doing such. Really means a lot to us. All right, let's keep it going. We need some more. We need some more call-ins. CrossFit, spend money to make money. CrossFit, why don't you call in? Let's hear your voice. That would be very interesting. Is that money laundering? No. That's only at concerts. It's going only at concerts. Fergie, I'm going to start a gym and call it CrossFit Revenge Body and advertise on dating apps. That's kind of genius. Only make it for like singles. And you have to be within a certain age category, certain amount of hotness to join. Oh, I was going to say this too. I don't do this often, but this guy, Death By, started this like clothing company. I think it's out of like Australia or something. I don't know. I might be completely wrong with that. But anyway, he sent me a sweatshirt and some long sleeve shirts. And it's probably some of the nicest material like that I've had in a sweatshirt in a while. It was pretty nuts. Caller, hello. Welcome to the show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Susan. It's Colleen Glinton. How are you?
I'm great, Colleen. Thanks again for having me on the show yesterday. That was amazing.
Oh my God, it was so much fun. We always love having you come on and chat and for time to come hang out with us.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah, say hi, Matt, Susan, quick.
What's up, buddy?
So just quick question.
Yeah.
Can coaches make a full-time living in somebody else's gym, or is the only way for them to make a full-time living gym?
That is a great question. And thank you for asking. So can coaches make a full-time living coaching at somebody else's gym, or do they have to open their own to do so? So the answer here is going to be kind of shitty, but it depends. And it definitely depends on the owner. And it definitely depends on the gym size. And it also depends on the work ethic of the coach. So let's unpack that a little bit. I think if you're a coach that shows up and you're really ambitious about growing the gym and helping outside of just a great class experience, then yeah, there should definitely be an opportunity for you to be able to grow your income, to be able to do it full time. Now, that's probably going to take a combination of making sure that you're involved in some way with helping grow the gym, whether that's giving a great experience to people that are coming in for the first time or handling kind of the orientations. And it's probably also going to matter with personal training, because I imagine you're going to have to take on some personal training clients where you could really make some good money there. So there's a couple different ways to do that. Now, I think for most people, it's probably not realistic unless the gym size and the gym owner really understands how to have a successful affiliate and has it priced appropriately and has a lot of strategies in terms of keeping churn really low, meaning how many members are going in and out each month, and knows how to grow it. I think for most of them, the answer, unfortunately, is probably going to be no, because when they get in there, they usually just coach a couple of the hours, and maybe you're making between $25 and $35 an hour. And that's going to be really tough to do as just a coach at somebody else's gym.
As an affiliate owner, is it challenging for you to find coaches that would step up to that you're talking about, like investing in not only coaching the classes, but jumping into the personal training aspect, the promoting the gym, do you find it harder to find coaches that are willing to do that, or more coaches that are like, well, I'm coaching 4 to 5 classes a week, I should be making, a wage that can sustain my living? Which one do you kind of interact with the most, and which one is the hardest to deal with?
I think so. Interact with the most. It all depends on their personal goals, because sometimes people call the coaching thing like an in-between job. So they're there while they're going to school or while they're trying to figure out like their quote unquote like career type job. So if they're not under that mindset and they really are trying to do this full time, I think it's going to be hard to find that individual first and foremost, because it took me years to find somebody like Albert, which is he's willing to do any job of the gym. He ushers in all the new people. He continues to like elevate his knowledge on all the business aspects of the affiliate, not just the coaching. So those individuals are few and far in between to come by, because it not necessarily just based off work ethic, but also just personal goals, right? So they might not have that as their goal is to be a gym owner. I know that a lot of coaches come in and they say, and I do this with a lot of people, and we sit down and say, hey, what's your ultimate outcome? What does success look like for you here at this gym? And what do you want to do in life? And if majority of them just say, I want to own a gym. And that's what Albert had said when he first came in. And I said, okay, awesome. I'll help you do that. Like, let's make this a platform for you to be able to learn everything you can here. And then when it comes time for you to open your own gym, we could help you with that. And quickly he realized, I don't know if I want to own my own gym, because I really enjoy coaching and interacting with the members. And once I move from a coach, I'm actually changing my job completely to gym owner. And it's a very different job. There's very different tasks that are involved with owning the gym and not just coaching. So they need to really have clarity on, do they want to do that if it is owning a gym? And then the other thing too is like going back to your question of, can they be like a really great like number 2, let's call it, for lack of better words? Like, yes, you definitely can, but those people are hard to come by, because it's such a self like motivating thing that there's nobody there telling you what to do, and you have to go out and hunt for your kill every single month. It's not like I could just clock out at my 9 to 5 and my paycheck stays the same. And so for a lot of people, that task becomes very daunting, and a lot of doubt starts to creep in if you can make it happen. And then typically they start to go, okay, this is not what I thought it was going to be. It's much more difficult, and it would just be so much easier if I could just go get a job where I can just clock in, make my money, and leave.
Yeah, because you talk about that a lot, where coaches are, come in and they're like, oh, I could do this better. And then they realize they actually just like the coaching part of it, and realize that there's 1,000 more things on the business aspect that needs to be done versus just being a coach.
Yes.
So, all right. Just wanted to ask that question real quick. We're going into a spot where I might lose a.
All right.
So
awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for calling in, Colleen. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye. I just like pressing that button. That's a really great question. And it is those type of individuals that really want to come in and work hard and kind of elevate themselves to be like, let's call it like a GM or something like that. It is kind of few and far between, just because not only is it such a tough like position to a tough role to fill, but at the same time, like it's hard, man, because you don't make a lot of money at first. Like, you have to have certain circumstances in life that would allow you to invest that time. Like, a lot of people got bills to pay and other stuff like that. Part of the reason why I'm doing this coaching practice thing this morning in about an hour from now is because we're trying to build a curriculum, not trying, but we are building a curriculum for the local college here, Las Positas College, which is up the street from us. And when we build our curriculum and show up over there, we've already put in all the application and everything else to become like an official intern place. And so all the kinesiology majors or anything like that that are over there at the community college can come over to CFL for interns and receive credits back at the college. So it's a little bit of a process to go through to do that. But that was something that we really wanted to do. So that way we could build this pipeline of coaches. And there is an aspect, like, if you come into the gym and you really, you want to learn how to run your own business and everything, like, you guys know I can't help myself, but, start to give ideas or unsolicited advice, if you will. And so you will start picking up a lot of the skills, especially if you're like, yeah, I'm here to learn and I'll do what it takes. But the finding somebody that's willing to dig in for the amount of years that it takes to make that work is tough. But I know it can work because we've done it at CFL. And Albert makes a good living. He's able to be in California, he live out on his own, has a little bit of money put aside, gets to do what he wants. And we're continuing. The other thing too, as a gym owner, is you have to have a path of ascension for them outside of just like, maybe one day you could own this whole thing, buddy. Like, you have to have a path of ascension, meaning we're going to start you at this salary. As you move through these milestones, you will go to this, to this, to this. And then at some point when you become valuable enough, you should allow them to have some sort of equity play, meaning actually become an owner. Not only does that like psychologically really invest them into the gym, even if it's a small ownership, but like legally in reality, they are now a gym owner. They're a partner in the gym, but that little piece of the pie goes a very long way, not only in terms of the ascension, but now like the whole mindset switches. Like when you actually own the gym, like really own the gym, you treat it differently. And you guys know that to be true. Like ownership over just like renting, so to speak, completely changes behavior. Pretty good. Good morning, Trish. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Trish the dish. Yeah. Hire an accountant and a lawyer. That's the first thing when starting a business. Yeah. Well, at least know where to find them. You might not have enough money to have a lawyer on retainer, but yeah, you definitely need to contact an insurance company and make sure that all of that stuff is squared away pretty quickly. And before even any of that, make sure that you form yourself as an actual business entity, like an LLC, because that'll give you the protection, at least against anything personally that you own, in case something does happen within your business. But yeah, getting that squared away is a must. I think even the process back when I opened the affiliate is like, I think you had to have an actual physical address that they could check out. And then you had to have a insurance that was like ready to go. I do believe. Lupe, marry one. That works too. An accountant lawyer, marry an accountant lawyer combination. Will Plummer, what's up, dude? Morning, Susan. What do you think about gyms that function off the back of the GM day to day, but keep it afloat by owner's pocketbook? Ooh, okay. So that means your business is what they refer to as upside down. Something in your business model is broken, whether it's a pricing problem, whether it's an overhead, meaning you're spending too much relevant to what the gym's making, which is kind of might be the same thing as a pricing problem. The other part of that too is like, what is the strategy for bringing new members in? CrossFit for many years was lucky in the sense that if I just put CrossFit on my website and above my door, people just showed up. And that is not a good strategy for bringing new people into your gym. That's kind of like the hope and pray strategy. And a lot of gyms function off of that. Now, the one thing that we're lucky with is CrossFitters get really, really like gung-ho about CrossFit, and they want to bring their families in and tell all their friends. And so it's a really good referral business. But at the same time, you need to have some sort of strategy with that referral business and outside of that too. Because once that starts to slow down and you just become reliant on that and you don't have another means of bringing people through the door, it gets real scary real fast, especially if you have a lot of bills, if your overhead is high. Now, the thing here that is interesting is, what do you think of gyms that function off the back of the GM? I don't know if I like that wording based on how much they pay them, because like one of the jokes that I was making with like Albert like years back is I was like, yeah, I hire you so that way my phone doesn't ring at 8 a.m. in the morning with the coach that calls in sick, like yours does, right? And so if you really outline like a job description for your GM and hopefully you're paying them well for that job, then I don't really like the term like off the back of, because that would assume that that person isn't getting paid well and isn't being treated fairly. And maybe in this circumstance, they're not. And so I would say like maybe that GM needs to find another location. But head up Two Brain Business and figure out why your business model is broken there, because something is wrong with the cash flow. And once cash flow has an issue, then it could get scary with those type of gyms, because you're chasing churn. Like really all the time with the CrossFit gym. Like a lot of them will chase churn. That's why, Two Brain Business talks about this. I think Best Hour of them talk about this. Like focusing on retention is your number one goal. Because if you could have longevity with your members, meaning like we know at CrossFit Livermore that if you're with us for 3 months, the data on my end shows that you'll be with us for 3 years. So if you come in and you're coming in 2 to 4 times a week and you're really getting kind of like integrated into our community and you're enjoying it, by the time 3 months comes around, you've really found some results. You really found your flow inside of your schedule and your routine to keep coming to the gym. And then we know that you'll most likely be there for 3 years. Like that's what our data shows. So that's the first goal of every CrossFit gym, is just to really make sure you don't have a retention problem. Because if you do, then the churn that you're chasing becomes too high and you'll never outrun it. So assuming that they looked at, their data, they have a way to look at their data that could show them exactly, how long it takes members from the time they enter in as a lead, meaning they made contact with your gym to inquire about coming in or check it out, how long before they take their first class. That's a really important metric because you want to try to make that as tight as possible, meaning that they come in and they're like, hey, what is CrossFit? How do I check this out? And boom, you get them into a class or some sort of foundations class right away. And then from there, how quickly can you convert them to a paying customer? And that's going to tell you about your retention, because if your first class they take is like, this is awesome, this is exactly what I was hoping for, like, where do I sign up? That means that you have a pretty good system with that. And if for some reason they don't, or you realize that they do a trial class and then you don't hear from them, that is a problem. That says that there's some sort of issue with that class experience. So those are the first 2 metrics that we look at, like time from making contact with the gym to time they're into their first class or coming into their first orientation. And then after that first class, what is the timeline between that and them signing up as a member? And typically, if you get those 2 things dialed in, the retention on the back end kind of solves itself, meaning you don't really have to do too much more to keep them around for that 3-month period if you know those 2 things are solid. And then that is a third thing you check, is like, okay, so from the time they became a member, like how much are they coming into the gym, and what does that look like from first signing up as an actual member to 90 days later? And then from there, if that looks good, that you don't have a retention problem, then you start to go and say, okay, is it the strategy for bringing new people into the gym? Like, is that the issue now? And a lot of people start with, oh, we just need more members. I just need to bring more people into the gym, blah, blah, blah. And they don't focus on any of the retention, or they're not even maybe focused on that first vital portion of when they come in, and they end up focusing on the wrong things. Summer Vine, in a non-affiliate gym, do you think it's possible to effectively run a class and also allow other people to use the gym and space at the same time for personal programming outside from an outside person? So just to clarify the question, there's 2 different answers to this. So if you have an individual who's doing personal training at the same time as a group class that's going on, if the space is big enough and the personal trainer knows that the class is the priority, meaning like, hey, don't do Isabel while we're trying to teach something, so you're hearing all these loud noises and weight slamming, it is definitely possible to run those 2 things simultaneously, assuming you have space to where people aren't on top of each other. If it's the case where you have a class going on and then you have an individual that like wants to be a competitor and they're coming in and they're doing their own programming off to the side, again, you could allow that if those individuals know that the class is the priority. And that's one of the things that we really, really push to, meaning if you're over there and you're doing your own programming and it disrupts the class in any manner, then we have to put a stop to it immediately. And I've had to do that in the gym, throughout the years. Not as much now, because people aren't coming in all like, I'm going to make it to regionals like they were in the past. But yeah, that's basically the number 1 rule. It's like, class gets priority. Don't interfere with the class. If you're disrupting the coach with any noises or anything like that, as far as equipment dropping and stuff, then we have to put an end to it. So that's kind of and that's typical of most gyms that are successful with allowing people to do extra programming or do their own competitive type programming while simultaneously running a class. If you got a really dope space like JR does at Crash, you have a whole second room that's like right when you walk through the front door to the left in his gym. There's like a mini affiliate in there, like a whole mini affiliate. And then the massive open space that is the rest of CrossFit Crash. So like in that situation, it's definitely like doable there because he's just like, hey, you go in the room, don't interfere with the class. And that makes it really easy. Most people don't have that space or that luxury. So at that point, you just need to make it very clear that, hey, class always has priority here. You do not, your personal programming does not. And if you're comfortable with that and we can make that work, then great. And then if not, sorry, you got to go. So hope that answered your question there, Summer. Trish, I'm always amazed at how gym owners or GMs fail to read the potential member. Get them with a coach who matches their personality for onboarding. This is 80. That is a really good point. And we've gone through different iterations of like our foundations class or like our startup courses. Back in the day, I used to be like, we're going to do basically a mini L1 and we're going to do this over 5 or 6 days. And honestly, the instruction and stuff was good. But what we did is we sold them into personal training with really detailed stuff with like movements and things like that. And then with no integration to the class, we're like, congratulations, you finished like your startup, like head on over, like fist bump. And then lo and behold, people would go to the class and it wasn't the same experience at all. Maybe to your point, Trish, like whatever the coaching or the class time was didn't necessarily mess with their personality. And we had poor retention from that style of startup to them transferring over to the normal class. And so it took quite a few years to get the recipe right. But at some point I realized, holy shit, why am I trying to teach them everything within 5 days or 7 classes or whatever the case may be, and then sending them over to the group classes? There also was a period of time where we didn't have a startup at all. And then we had to change a little bit of the way we coached in the class, which also wasn't quite the right mesh because some of our members that have been there for a really long time, like that coaching was really slow and like over coached almost. So what we found the sweet spot. So now when you come in and you do our foundations, we actually just pair you with a coach. It's at a certain time and you follow along with the normal group classes that are happening, but you have your own secondary coach there that's with that group or with that individual. And then what we do is we bring them next to somebody within the community who's like just awesome. You know who these all-stars are, that they just are like super friendly, very welcoming, everything else. And we'll actually pair them up. So I'm like, hey, this is so-and-so, this is their first day in. Like, we're going to go ahead and set up next to Trish because we know she's awesome and she treats all the new members well and everything else. So we go and set up over there and we'd make introductions, hey, so-and-so, this is Trish, this is this person. So now all of a sudden they're really feeling integrated into the community. And then with that secondary coach there, we're just giving background, like more details as they're going through, but we're allowing the lead coach to coach the class. So they're following the coach who's coaching the whole entire class, but we're in the background giving extra information, giving more details, saying, okay, cool. When they said to go get the PVC pipes, they're over here. We'll walk you over there, grab the PVC pipe, introducing you to some members on the way. Okay, we're going to go grab you a box, maybe for the pull-up bar. We're going to go grab you, X, Y, and Z. Here's where this is, and here's where that is. So that way, when they finish that intro course, they really are mostly just integrated into our community and are super comfortable following the instruction and knowing where everything is in the gym. We know that it's going to take them a long time to really teach the movement. So like, we're not trying to rush it and compact it into the short amount of time. And that really helped because right when they would finish from that foundations and we're like, hey, congrats. Like, you remember the gym now, you could come to any one of the classes on the schedule. They're like, awesome, thanks, this is great. And now they feel like they're a part of the community. They're super comfortable learning in that environment. They know where everything is in the gym. They know some other people that are around them. And so right away, they feel like they belong. And if you look at some of the statistics too, like that's the number one reason most people don't show up is because they don't want to feel like the odd one out that doesn't know what's going on. So if you really make that experience great, and then you kind of meet them where they're at personality wise and get them some friends in the gym right away, they're there. They're ready to rock. And so, yeah, that's that's kind of how we do it. We found a lot of success with that. And then the other thing too is with that foundation, since it runs at the same times and same days, if for any reason that member that is now graduated out of that class doesn't quite feel comfortable, or they still want that secondary coach, they could still keep coming to it. So we put a minimum of 3 days out that they have to do it. And usually it's 4 days, because they'll come in for that first trial class or something, and then they'll go through the rest of them. But they don't have to, it's not like we kick them out. So they could still continue with the secondary coach if they would like to. And sometimes we have people that do that. But for the most part, they feel really comfortable with everything. And then after that, they're like, cool, I want to come at this time because it's a little more convenient for me than the 5:30. Awesome. Great. Stoked. And they've met most of the coaches and, yada, yada. So that's been really successful for us. So thanks for the question. All right. We made it through an hour. Thank you guys. Couldn't have done it without you. Thank you for those of you guys that called. I kind of like this format. Maybe if I promoted it like through Instagram or something, we could have people that could write into questions. Maybe people will feel more comfortable calling in the future. But it was fun. I enjoy talking about everything and anything in the affiliate and coaching and all that type of stuff. I really enjoy it. So thank you guys for hanging out. I am going to head to the gym now to teach some coaching and practice. I think we'll be back tomorrow with Kill Taylor. I think. If not, Sevon will be back. We'll have the normal morning show. And Sevon, if you're listening, tell the boys good luck at the jiu-jitsu tournament today. Be thinking about them. And you guys be good to each other out there. Bye-bye.